Hi there. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this website that I found called biodigital.com. You can see the web address right here. And this is a great site for being able to view anatomy completely individually. You can just take a look at one particular vessel. You can take a look at a group of vessels. You can add in different organs so that you can see how they interface with one another. Um, so I found this really helpful to be able to take a look at the anatomy in this way. And I just wanted to give you a brief little tour. I put together several little slides and I can walk you through how you can individualize this for yourself so that you can be able to view the anatomy in a way that makes more sense for you. Um, if you log into this site or create a site with your Bellevue College address and in your profile put that you are with the college as a student or and or faculty, you should be able to get a free account and have access to some of the features. You'd have to upgrade in order to get all of the features, but I think for your purposes, being able to just do it with your Bellevue College address might give you enough information, I believe. Um, on the left-hand side is a menu, and you can choose what bodily systems that you want to see. So I have basically turned everything off. That's why all these are gray. But if I clicked on the skeletal system, you can see how that would all of a sudden highlight all the skeletal anatomy that's in that area that I'm currently viewing. I'm going to turn that off just to get it out of the way of the vessels. And you can see that I have completely gotten rid of almost everything except for the cardiovascular system. And I've chosen several vessels of the thorax and of the heart and of the abdomen just so that you can see those particular items. So I'm going to walk through this. You'll notice that this is an anterior, fairly anterior view of the human body. This is the heart up here. And on their left-hand side is the descending aorta and the abdominal aorta. And then on the left-hand side, excuse me, on our left-hand side, their right-hand side is the inferior vena cava. And we'll go through each of these vessels individually. And as we do, they're going to highlight here in orange, or depending on which vessel you're looking at. The arteries will highlight in orange, and the inferior vena cava will actually turn a kind of unusual green color. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see abdominal vessels, and if you generally, if you click on this, and I think it's because I haven't started the tour yet, but when you click on this, it will give you a little bit more information about the particular vessel that's highlighted. So let's go ahead and click on this next image. And you'll see now it says abdominal aorta. And if I click the little plus button here, it will give you a description of the abdominal aorta to tell you a little bit more about it. So then we'll move on. And I actually had thought that I'd gotten the celiac trunk, but I didn't. So when we get to the splenic artery here, you can see the splenic artery is a very tortuous vessel. It kind of does lots of little squiggles along the way as it goes off to the spleen. The spleen would be sitting out here. And this actually runs along the superior border of the pancreas. So I don't have the pancreas in here yet, but when we do, you'll get to see how that just sits basically right on top of the pancreas. So this is a splenic artery. It comes off the celiac trunk. And if I put my cursor right on this little piece that's coming off the aorta, you'll see that it says root of the celiac trunk. So it's just that little piece that's coming off the aorta there. The next thing would be the left gastric artery. It makes this loop that goes up and around. And then the next slide after that is the hepatic artery. And that runs off to the right here, the right of the patient. And the next would be the superior mesenteric artery. It's going to highlight in orange here. It will actually run anterior to the aorta and almost parallel, and you'll see that as we turn this whole slide in a moment. But I wanted to finish going over the inferior mesenteric artery. And there it is there in orange. And now if we turn, oh, nope, sorry, forgot the vena cava. Here's the inferior vena cava here. And then if we turn that person to their right, so the anterior portion is going to go to our left. So anterior is now here. You're looking at the left side of the person, and posterior is back here. So the aorta is closer to you and the vena cava is further away from you. And this is the celiac trunk right here. And the splenic artery comes out towards you. So it's coming directly at you. The hepatic artery is moving away from you. And then this is the left gastric doing this little loop-to-loop up here. And you can see how the superior mesenteric artery comes off the aorta and basically runs parallel to it, right in front of it, right anterior to it. There's a little bump here, and you're going to see why in a moment. The pancreas, the head of the pancreas loops around the superior mesenteric artery and comes underneath, and the uncinate process sits right underneath the superior mesenteric artery, in between the superior mesenteric artery and the abdominal aorta. So now if we turn that person back anteriorly, like we did in the first view, and put in the pancreas, and you can see that all that I did up here was to highlight the digestive system. I turned off everything else and then just turned on the pancreas. And you can see how the pancreas, this is the head of the pancreas with the uncinate process, head, body, and the tail comes all the way up here towards the spleen. And you can see how the splenic artery just sits right on top of the pancreas there. And then we're going to once again turn that person to the right, so the anterior is now sitting to our left. And you can see that uncinate process tucking underneath the SMA there. And the tail of the pancreas is heading directly in your direction, directly out of the screen. So that's just a little overview of how this website works and what you can do to visualize different things. I'm going to show you one more thing. So now we've got the person facing to the side. If you put your cursor on the screen and click your left mouse button and then drag the cursor to the right, you can rotate that so that you're not just seeing it anteriorly or from the side. You can see it in all directions, however you want to move that image. So there's side to side moving. If I go back to almost an anterior view and move the cursor to the very top and then click on the left button and drag it towards me, I can tilt the head of the person towards me and their feet away from me. And now you can see how the anatomy relates to one another from that view. And you can do just the opposite. Move your cursor to the bottom, click on the left mouse, drag it back up again, go all the way through, and now you're looking from the patient's feet. So that's just some of the ways you can use this website, and I have found it very useful to be able to look at the anatomy individually, just place certain organs. It's sort of like looking at netters and how they lift up different portions of the anatomy so that you can see behind it. But in this way, you don't have to do that. You can just get rid of the anatomy that you don't want to see. So it's very helpful. It's a little strange, so I have to show you just very quickly. If you just click on the gallbladder, it just kind of sits out there in space until you add the liver or something else. So it's just, a little strange how some things just float out there by themselves. But it is very helpful, I think, for the most part. And I hope you enjoy the website. Thank you.